Representative Anna Paulina Luna has been chosen by House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer and Speaker Johnson for the task of releasing all those classified files.
A few weeks ago, President Donald Trump made a historic announcement. With the stroke of a pen, he committed to declassifying the files concerning the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A decision not just monumental, but pivotal. It is with profound honor that I have been entrusted by Speaker Mike Johnson and Chairman James Comer to lead the House Oversight Task Force on declassification of federal secrets.
Now, this is huge and probably the strongest sign I've seen so far that those files might actually see the light of day. And the reason behind my optimism comes from all the things she said while investigating those UAPs.
Minutes of questioning.
Mr. Elizondo, to your knowledge, can you name the country and around time frame that the first back-engineered UAP program started?
Ma'am, unfortunately, I would not be able to have that conversation in public.
Can anyone on the panel name that?
I cannot.
None of you? Mr. Grush, why is it that you refer to the phenomenon as non-human intelligence? Why deviate from the basis of extraterrestrial life?
I think the phenomenon is very complex, and I like to leave an open mind analytically to specific origin.
So even though I know some people are not happy with this announcement, I kind of believe her when she says this.
We just want the truth. How much did the CIA know in advance? But also remember, when you have only certain information that's shared with the American people, that's when conspiracy theories happen. And it's in my opinion that conspiracy theories can be detrimental. It doesn't mean that in the last couple of months we haven't been right on a few things, but what I will say is I think that we deserve to give this information to the American people.
I mean, we all knew a single shooter didn't gun down JFK. However, we now have a politician leading this investigation saying the same damn thing.
This will no longer be a task force that makes bold promises only to fade into irrelevance or send strongly worded letters. This will be a relentless pursuit of truth and transparency, and we will not stop until the American people have the answers they deserve. We will cut through the bureaucracy, challenge the stonewalling, and ensure that the American people finally get the truth that they have been denied for too long.
If that doesn't show you that the tide is changing, I don't know what else will. She also made promises to tell us the truth about lots of other classified cases.
Together with the help of the White House, our intelligence allies, the Department of Defense, the Department of Justice, we will be conducting investigations into the following: the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and Dr. Martin Luther King, unidentified aerial phenomena, also known as UAPs, unidentified submerged objects, also known as USOs, the Epstein client list.
I mean, there are dozens of incidents from our past where the American people were kept in the dark. In addition to these high-profile cases, I would also love to know the extent of CIA programs like MKUltra. And why don't we just tell the public if our agencies had anything to do with all those lunatics like Jim Jones? But let's be clear, these files aren't going to come out in one day or even 1 month. Most of these records are buried so deep that the FBI only just got their hands on more files related to the JFK case.
The FBI says it has uncovered 2,400 new records related to President John F. Kennedy's assassination.
I'm pretty sure the threat of Kash Patel had something to do with this discovery. But this situation of lost paperwork is no joke. Just hear this insane admission Elon Musk made while standing in the White House.
And then we're told, this is actually, I think, a great anecdote, because we're told the most number of people that could retire possibly in a month is 10,000. We're like, whoa, why is that? Well, because all the retirement paperwork is manual on paper. It's manually calculated, then written down on a piece of paper. And this mine looks like something out of the 50s because it was started in 1955. So it looks like it's like a time warp. And then the speed, the limiting factor is the speed at which the mine shaft elevator can move determines how many people can retire from the federal government. And the elevator breaks down sometimes, and then nobody can retire.
Didn't we just spend $600 million building a supercomputer that would handle classified tasks like securing our nukes? Why can't we just spend a fraction of that money to create digital records of pretty much every other thing? Elon also said some other concerning things while briefing the press.
You know, there's crazy things like just cursory examination of Social Security, and we've got people in there that are 150 years old. Now, do you know anyone who's 150? I don't. Okay. They should be on the Guinness Book of World Records. So the reason that departments can't pass audits is because the payments don't have a categorization code. It's like just a massive number of blank checks just flying out the building. So you can't reconcile blank checks. You've got comment fields that are also blank, so you don't know why the payment was made.
Is he asking for anything unreasonable? He just wants to know where the money went. And yet a federal judge stopped him from digging into the U.S. Treasury Department. Now, if he was working for the Democrats, AOC would have this advice for him.
This, which I concur, which is that I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling. The interesting thing when it comes to a ruling is that it relies on enforcement. And it is up to the Biden administration to choose whether or not to enforce such a ruling.
You see, the laws don't apply to them. And yet, for some reason, these Dems don't want Elon to look into their piggy banks. The person who's probably the most vocal on this issue is Elizabeth Warren. And here's how her claims were debunked by Jerome Powell, who was appointed by Obama.
For any Americans who have money deposited at JP Morgan or Wells Fargo or any other of the giant banks, they should now know that there is no one on the job to make sure that those banks are not scamming you.
The suggestion that the ranking member has made here is that the big banks can now scam individuals right now. Any change in the laws regarding how they're supposed to be treating the individual consumers out there or anything along that line?
Law changes? No, I'm not aware of any.
Any changes, any rules that they would have to follow?
Not that I'm aware of.
Are they still audited, and do they still have the regulators in watching all of their businesses just as they did before?
Well, they'd have all the regulators except for the CFPB.
Very good.
If in fact, in the hypothetical, the CFPB weren't carrying that out.
Anything else you'd like to add before we move on?
No, I'm good.
Now, the reason why she hates Elon's guts so much is because she's amassed quite the wealth over the years.
How did you get a $12 million net worth on a $200,000 salary in Congress?
Thank you.
How did you do that?
Excuse me.
How did you do that? You can keep trying to block my camera. We're on a public sidewalk, so get off the.
And we all know what Donald Trump has asked Elon to do.
And also, could you mention some of the things that your team has found, some of the crazy numbers, including the woman that walked away with about $30 million?
We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But just there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at taxpayer expense.
Mr. President is referencing Samantha Powers, whose wealth ballooned quite a bit after Biden handed her control over USAID.
There's a huge controversy now with Samantha Powers because she was sworn in May of 2021 into this position by the Biden administration. You always have to let them know what your net worth is, and you have to give your financials. And at that time, it was a little under $7 million. She has been in that position for under 4 years, about 3.5 years. And she is now worth about $30 million. And this job pays $180,000 a year. Something here doesn't smell right. I think we can all agree on that.
And yes, this is the same lady who defended USAID's role in Ukraine. At this point, we don't even have to connect the dots, but it would be great if there was an official investigation into her financial success. Now, Elizabeth Warren isn't the only ultra-progressive senator who has come under fire lately. When Bernie Sanders tried to stop Tulsi Gabbard from taking over the NSA, people started responding with videos like this one.
You voted no on Tulsi Gabbard today. And I gotta say something to you because I supported you. I voted for you. I backed you. I canvassed for you. And you voted against Tulsi Gabbard, a woman who did the same. In fact, she did so much more. She basically sacrificed her future and her career in the Democratic Party to back you. And today, you voted against her, and for what? Because the Democrats have continued to perpetuate a smear invented by Hillary Clinton that was hoisted upon her because she dared do what was right at the time and back you over Hillary Clinton? Shame on you, Bernie Sanders. I'm breaking up with you forever. Like, forever. We're never, ever getting back together. Ever.
Some people also dug up his old tweet about Tulsi, where he said, Tulsi Gabbard has put her life on the line to defend this country. People can disagree on issues, but it is outrageous for anyone to suggest that Tulsi is a foreign asset. As you can imagine, people are now leaving some very harsh replies to this tweet. One of his followers wrote, and then Bernie backstabs her, even though she obliterated her own career with Democrats to stand up for what she believes in. Go against the swamp and support Bernie Sanders. Something Bernie can't even do because he is owned and a subservient little to the swamp. Never has it ever been more clear that I have joined the good side. I can't believe I was a Democrat for so long. It turns out these progressive leaders aren't very keen on bringing any change to the current status quo. Now, since we just had the Super Bowl, I want to share a video with you guys that just lays out how we are being ripped off by billionaires in the name of entertainment.
But check this out, right? Billions of average taxpayer dollars, the CNN analysis has shown, are subsidizing the wildly profitable National Football League. Between 1997 and 2015, NFL owners opened up 20 new stadiums with the help of $4.7 billion in taxpayer funds. And owners have saved billions more by financing stadium construction with tax-free municipal bonds. A tax runaround originally created by Congress to help fund roads and schools. U.S. corporate executives, meanwhile, get to write off the billions they shell out for NFL game luxury suites as legitimate business entertainment expenses. What? Average taxpayers obviously don't get to sit in those suites. They essentially don't get to sit anywhere in NFL stadiums. And in the 2024 season, the average cost for a family of four to attend an NFL game ran $808. Check this out, right? Diego Boufouin, also a professor at Tulane's business school, said that the revenue number is inflated. Boufouin said that studies show that New Orleans businesses and residents are projected to keep only $150 million from this year's Super Bowl. And most of the profit is collected by the NFL and large national corporations that aren't based in Louisiana.
This guy always makes some awesome videos, so do check out his X channel. Also, don't forget to share what you guys think about the crazy net worths of these so-called progressive politicians. Also, when do you think we can expect to see those classified files? Feel free to share your thoughts with everyone in the comments section below. As always, thank you for watching today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one.